Have you ever seen a single teenager stand up and shake the entire world? This is the story of Greta Thunberg, the girl who turned silence into the loudest cry for our planet. Greta was born in Stockholm, Sweden in 2003. By the time she was just 8 years old, she learned about climate change. But unlike most children, she couldn't forget it. She couldn't understand why adults knew the planet was in danger, yet carried on as if nothing was wrong. At 11, the weight of that knowledge crushed her. She fell into depression, stopped speaking, and struggled with eating disorders. Doctors diagnosed her with Asperger's, OCD, and selective mutism. Greta would later call her Asperger's a gift, a superpower that helped her see the crisis in black and white, without excuses. And then, at just 15, she decided she could no longer stay silent. On a Friday morning in August 2018, she skipped school, sat down in front of the Swedish Parliament, and held up a handmade sign, "School strike for climate." She was alone. At first, people walked past. Some mocked her, but Greta refused to leave. Day after day, week after week, she sat in protest. And slowly, others began to join her. Her quiet act of defiance sparked a fire. Soon, students across Europe joined in. Then, across the globe, her strike became a movement. Fridays for Future. By 2019, Greta was speaking on the world's biggest stages. At Davos, she looked leaders in the eye and said, "I want you to panic. I want you to act as if the house is on fire, because it is." At the United Nations, she delivered the words that shook millions. "How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words." Some praised her as a hero. Others mocked her, even presidents and prime ministers. But Greta never backed down. She turned their insults into strength, reminding the world that the crisis wasn't about her, it was about all of us. In just a few years, Greta went from a lonely teenager with a sign to the face of the largest climate protest in history. More than 7 million people marched behind her call. She became Time magazine's Person of the Year, the youngest in history. But Greta's story is not just about fame. It is about courage. The courage to speak when no one listens. The courage to fight when the odds seem impossible. And the courage to remind us that the future is not written, it's chosen. Greta Thunberg's life shows us one undeniable truth. Change begins with one voice, one action, one choice, to stand firm even when you're standing alone. So the question is, if a single teenager could ignite a worldwide movement, what can you do today to protect the planet tomorrow?